Last week we had this evening is Charles. You've probably heard before, but you'll have 3 minutes to speak and you'll be given notice 1 minute before you finish. You ready?
Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to address the meeting. I have 2 children who have undiagnosed life-limiting conditions, global development delay and mental issues. They're my grandchildren. They live with me and I have parental responsibility for them because their mother is too ill to look after them. Precious being the parent. I'm here to tell you what's involved in my day, and I'm afraid the time it's just not going to allow it, so I'll just give you a little glimpse of what's included. Ben has 15 medications each morning. He's now 16 and in palliative care, and Sophie, who is 7 years old, has 7 medications. 3 of Ben's meds are for epilepsy, which have never been controlled. He's had times when he experienced up to 80 seizures a day, and better times when he's had between 3 and 4. They range in duration from 5 minutes to as little as an hour. For most of the day, there is some sort of activity. 2 medications are for severe, very severe, full-body dystonic movement disorder. At its worst, Ben would thrash uncontrollably for up to 12 hours at a time. The pain involved is unendurable, mainly because Ben also has very severe scoliosis, a curvature of the spine, which creates neuropathic pain when nerves are stretched to their limit on one side of the spine and squashed and nipped on the other. After several weeks, we finally managed to find the right cocktail of drugs to help control the movement to a greater degree, and at the moment, Ben experiences short bouts of movement, thankfully, perhaps 3 or 4 times a day, lasting between 30 and 90 minutes, when they're triggered by several causes, sometimes by seizure, or by pain, or by difficulty in breathing. 6 medications for pain, 2 different types of morphine, slow and ketamine to help with neuropathic pain, and ibuprofen for temperature and to enhance the others. 2 remaining medications are antibiotics, because Ben has pseudomonas, a bacterial infection that colonises in the lungs of those with compromised respiratory systems. He's never without a chest infection, which creates difficulty because of his impaired swallowing. He requires suctioning of mucus and saliva because he's unable to swallow. And deep suction or oral suction. Oral suction is obviously self-explanatory. Deep suction is where we have to go deeper into his lungs to avoid a plug of mucus, which can be fatal if we don't get it out. I'm not going to, he doesn't walk or wait there, he doesn't speak. He lost that ability at the age of 8 and he needs to be hoisted for the transfer of position. To lift him physically would be far too painful for him and would be far too hazardous for the lifter. And what of Sophie? Well, although Sophie is still mobile at the age of 7, at the moment things are changing for her too. Her epilepsy is increasingly difficult to control and her walking is deteriorating and she's very, very wobbly. She already has her gastrostomy and is tube-fed in the same way that Ben is. In order for Ben to receive sufficient nutrition, he has to be on a food pump for 16 hours out of 24.
Thank you, Ms. Charles. I'm sure all the members would like to ask you would anyone like to ask a question of Ms. Charles? Councillor Challice.
Would you be able to tell us about this?
Yes, exactly.
So she's not the vibrant, energetic little girl who loves to be tickled and bounced and would want you to sing to her all day long and spend most of her day smiling. She's never had speech, but managed to communicate so very well by taking you by hand to what she wanted, which was usually cake and chocolate. She's much less able these days, and all indications are that she'll follow the same path as Ben, but in Sophie's case, things seem to be happening really quickly. Her glimmers are easier and bigger at the moment. The thing is, we've got to work harder and harder and input much, much more to help our children get their glimmers of recognition of the world. They so deserve the opportunity, and it's the dedication and fantastic skill of those adults who embark upon a never-ending quest to help our children shine, even though for some it might only be for seconds. My children are the people in my world that I respect the most. They cope with the most enormous struggles without a moment of self-pity. They respond positively to every opportunity, even though those opportunities are short and seldom, and despite the fact that they're so very ill at times. I love my children more than you can understand. and I want to look after them at home until they die, which is inevitable. No one else can care for them any I do. I want them to have as much positivity and experience as they can. But then things are very sadly advanced. But with Sophie, she can still touch and feel and taste and smell and smile, and she deserves nothing less than what Oakleigh provide for her.
Thank you, Ms. Charles. I don't want to interrupt you, but since question time, we're going to
Don't interrupt. How
just
can you interrupt someone like that?
any members to ask any questions, we need to have it happen in the next minute or two. So
We need to know how we feel.
if we could have quiet in the gallery, I'm sure that Ms. Charles will really appreciate it.
Experience the world of human sensory care, so it's vital that he has as much sensory as possible to keep him part of the world. And to let him know that we love him dearly. He needs music and sensory lights and touch and stories and affection. His cognitive function is very low, but just occasionally, when he's having a good day, and when all the stars align, I can just get that glimmer of the Ben that once was. Just a minute, a minute eye contact or a squeeze of my finger or a moment that leans towards me. And these are the moments for which I would work unendingly and for which I'm so. As a carer, it's tough. The heartbreak's too difficult to describe, but eventually we manage to put that somewhere safe to deal with at a later date. The daily care, the cleaning of equipment, oxygen masks, tubing, nebulizers, managing and replenishing medication stocks, the changing of the gastrostomy bottle, the appointments and communication with various healthcare professionals, doctors, dietitians, physiotherapists, occupational physiotherapists, neurologists, bone specialists, the list goes on and on. We all have different experiences to deal with our children, and we are all completely individual, and our needs are all very specific. Disabilities are just one thing, and it can't be just put right with a ramp and a rail. We live 1 inch from the end of our terror, and we need to know that that inch is loose. They are trained in medical, physical and social needs of our children, and there's nowhere else for our children to go. I'm usually quite a private person. I don't impart this information easily, and I tell you all of this not because I want something for myself or for my children. That's not the objective at all. I'm here to impart knowledge, because with knowledge comes understanding and responsibility. You need to be aware of the consequences of the decisions that you're making, and you need to be responsible for the welfare of the most vulnerable children and the most vulnerable members of our community. There have been central government funding made for the provision of these children. I'm not going to quote the new carers bill here, though you're surely aware of it, and I'm not going to quote General Comment number 17, published by the United Nations Committee on the Rights of the Child. However, these documents exist, and you need to implement what you can to acknowledge them. I urge you to give our children the respect and dignity they deserve, and to make the decision to provide funding for the Oakleigh scheme, not to overturn a decision on the pretext of an administrational error, but a decision on principle to continue to fund this play scheme, and others like it, since it's the only scheme that our children can access.
Councillor Slocombe to this committee, and then we've benefited from the questions and comments from the public. Councillor Slocombe, would you like to introduce your item?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. It says on the agenda, I must say that as a third nurse and midwife, I understand everything all the speakers have said. I know what you're hearing, I know what you're going through. So let me tell you, I understand. I'm glad this evening that the Saints and made this resolution. But I have to say it should never come to this before. It should not have been turned down at council. I say because under the authorities, we should treat all schools and children equally. If it's austerity for the council, it's austerity for those parents too as well. They have less money than us. Teachers and staff, the stress for them and the parents is an understatement. As corporate parents, we should be acting as parents. We shouldn't have to let them come to tell us what it's all about. In our own minds, if it was our children or our child, we would know better and give them what we think they needed. Sometimes money is not always the first thing you think about. It is the quality and the kindness and the care for those parents, school and children, not money first. And why is it that we always hit the ones with the less money and the vulnerable one, and we forget those at the top? What is the matter with us that we cannot think right?
Slocombe, I want to remind members that we have passed a motion on reinstating the books, and obviously we know that the leader has brought in the extension of the Mapledown special short break service for the continuation of this year. I would draw members' attention to the fact that in our work programme going forward to the July meeting in a month's time, that we're going to be addressing directly these issues. So I think in terms of a short update, that's probably been provided from what we've had at this meeting, and we've benefited from them as the public and from yourself to be able to put that forward to move forward. So if you say that item is being addressed, Councillor Slocombe. Okay. Yes, I think we can move straight. That's something that we will then be able to have a fuller update on at the next meeting, but obviously we've done a large piece of work here. Now, I would like to thank all of those members of the public, friends, families and supporters who come here this evening. I'm sure that those young children may want to take this as an opportunity to move, so I think we'll take a pause for a minute so that people who want to leave at this stage have an opportunity to do so. Thank you.
We read the funding report, that's fine, that's good. We look at that again in the July meeting. But I just want to make sure that when we come back to the July meeting, we're going to look at this as a whole and not discuss this too.
Yes, yes. Did you want to say a few words?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, what we'll be bringing forward to this committee for your consideration is a conditioning strategy for our short break services as a whole for the budget that we have, which is £700,000 for short break provision to set out where we think that budget is best used in consultation with local providers and to have a chance to consider it in July. We have rolled over contracts through until March 2015, and what the committee will need to do on the back of consideration of this commissioning approach is to set out the areas that they would like to see that money being used going forward from April 2015 onwards.
Councillor Hutton, let's keep this one short because I don't want people saying that later than they need to.
I understand. Just to clarify, because this didn't come under short breaks, it came under another, so I'd like us to look at the broader spectrum and not just, for the percentage, not just the short breaks.
I can give you assurance that we'll be looking at all of the short breaks provision, including those that were previously funded from the individual commission budget, which
Very quickly, Chair, if I may.
Councillor Hutton, we need to make this really short.
I understand that funding for short breaks comes by the government's early intervention grant. For the July meeting, would it be possible to get a full breakdown of that grant, where the funding goes to and how much of it is associated with short breaks?
we can set up the funding streams, yes.
Thank you, members, thank you, officers. So yes, if there are people who have young children here who would like to take this as an opportunity, thank you very much for coming this evening. We greatly appreciate you coming here. Just take a couple of minutes before we move on to the next.